Already. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
We want to start by giving all glory and praises to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
Already brothers from down to Bay, Florida, from the camp prophets in Babylon. Come with another quick hit to the span power by Shemel Shai. Lord went to edify and feed the sheep. Double honor to that was an apostle, great millstone, teacher well. Peace and blessings to the brothers who are pushing this work in true sincerity to the scattered abroad. Alright, as you know, it's 2025, man. Okay, and this year has started off with a bang, man. Okay, and as we know it, we've seen wildfires, we've seen, rumors of wars. Okay, we've seen shortages of eggs and prices raising here in America, man. Okay, uproars and the people. Okay, all right, you have where protesting has been going on with these Teslas. All right, how people are destroying these Teslas, man, due to what has been taking place within the White House, man, with this devil Trump moving into seat and power, man, and Elon Musk being in his second-hand man. Mm-hmm. All right, so just saying, we seeing all these things happen, and now you have it where, okay, according to these banks, all right, it says Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo lead wave of bank closures in just 5 weeks. So now, to tag along with all that's going on, you got these banks going on a closure, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the brother's gonna read a little bit of the article, all right, but shows you this place is through, all right, and if you got any investments, okay, any stocks and any type of storage here in this place, man, savings, yeah, all that shit's about to go to.
It's about to be empty, bro.
Yeah.
They're going to take your money. You had it happen before where Bank of America took a lot of people's money out of their savings account because they had a issue. Okay? Yep. So how much more you think is going to happen now that all these banks are having issues? You think they're not going to repeat the same thing? Scripture say nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
What happened before, it happened again.
Yeah.
All right, but this article says here, and what's this website called? Newsbreak, where it says the Mirror, posted by the Mirror US, it says Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo lead wave of bank closures in just 5 weeks. Major U.S. banks like Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo are rapidly closing branches. These banking giants, that's the key word, banking giants.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah, banking giants, man. Head honchos, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are the ones that people are mainly going to.
Right.
When it comes to going to get a bank and having a savings or having a checkings account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these major giant companies are having flaws within what's going on.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says these banking giants have closed around 145 branches in just 5 weeks. 145 branches with just in 5 weeks. That's a crazy number, man. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to think about how much revenue these banks are bringing in, being stationed where they were, and that's 145 of these branches that was pretty much put to close, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's losing out on money. What major event is about to take place should be on your mind, man. That should come to mind. Like, what the hell is all of these banks closing, man?
Right. What's getting ready to take place? It sounds like a great big shift is getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
They're closing up the books on this U.S. dollar thing, and they're about to go digital, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you ain't gonna have need to go up to a physical bank and take out cash anymore and deposit funds. That's gonna be done away with. Everything's gonna be in your hand or in your forehead, man.
Right.
And they also got digital ID apps as well.
Yep.
So you can manage your finances. You're gonna be able to manage your finances through an app on your phone or something, man.
Right.
Through your C-hip.
And you just had it recently where it was going into soon. At these airports, you're not going to be able to show your driver's license or use your driver's license as a way to identify you. They're going to go and you have to use your actual identifying card, okay, to further be put through the checking system, man. Mm-hmm. So they're solely using gradualism to getting to the point they want to use just it being that chip, man. Mm-hmm. Really, okay, that MOTB, man.
Right.
Okay, which is forwarding that digital system. You got it, bro.
It says, and more closures may follow. The financial institutions informed the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency about their intended closures scheduled from February 7th to March 14th.
Right. And it's crazy because they said there's going to be more that follow, man. So it's not stopping there. It's going to continue. And if you look at the last 5 years of all these closures when it comes to these major businesses or banks, it's been, rapidly going up in number of closures, man. Closures completely. Okay? So these devils are constantly moving on, closing these banks out and these branches out, okay, due to something major that's gonna come. Okay? Go ahead.
It says Flagster Bank leads the list of banks scheduled for foreclosure with 44 branches, while TD Bank follows with 38 locations. Bank of America, which experienced the highest number of branch closures in 2024, totaling 168, announced plans to shut down 9 locations from February 7th to March 14th.
Right, which that's just showing you they keeping record of these things, man. Okay, what does that mean for these individuals who trust in this system, man? What does that mean? That means you're gonna be perhaps losing out on something, man. That you wholeheartedly put your savings and your trustings in, your treasures in. You're gonna be losing out, man, because these people have these branches next to them, okay, and they be like going to swipe their card, going to the ATM, and it's right up the street from them. But as soon as they have to drive a few miles or a few, blocks down the street, people get irritated with that, man.
Right.
So imagine you having a bank that was up the street being closed, and now you have to go across the city just to go, pull out some money, man. That's gonna raise the tension in the air for these, daily Americans, man.
Yep. This book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. These people gonna have nothing to do. They're gonna be idle, man. No work, okay, nothing to do. What's next? They can't pay for food. They need money to pay for food. What do we do next? Okay, they're gonna introduce that micro C-hip. Okay, things offered unto idols. They're gonna introduce that MOTB to you. Okay, they're gonna say take our poison. If you ever see that show Utopia on Amazon Prime, which is a good show, by the way, I highly recommend. He said the people, we gave them the problem, and we gave them the solution, which was a false problem. Okay, the so-called virus. Okay, they're talking about how they put out a fake virus, and then they said they gave them solution. The people just laid down and accepted our poison. They gave us their arms, and they let us inject them with our poison.
Right.
Okay, that's what these people are going to do when it comes time to C-hip. Yeah, the pretest, the pre-run with the C9, the people did it during the pretest. So what makes you think they're not going to do it during the actual test?
Exactly. And see, they're going to really just, shift things around, all right, that's going to mold into that digital system. And when they do these things, they're going to make it at your convenience to where that MOTB is going to be right there. They're going to be like, oh, well, we got this to help you out. It's a spirit, because I was going into a lesson on going into it on the MOTB, man, because really these devils are really going to move rapidly, all right, with closing things down and shutting shit down, and in major places, man, just so that they can make a huge event happen to usher in that, that chip, man.
Well, there's a reason. As soon as Trump got in office, he appointed Elon like his right hand man, and he invested billions of dollars into cryptocurrencies. He invested billions of dollars into agencies that are run upon cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency, that's currency that's being traded, okay, money that's being traded digitally, okay, not physically, all right? They're going to do this thing digitally, so there's a reason that they're doing that, all right? It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. And if you give that consent, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll get it. You put it in the back of my head so nobody sees it. Put it in my left hand, and I don't really use that hand that much, so I don't want anybody to see. Wherever you want to put it at. If you consent and allow this devil to put his insignia on you, you will be destroyed. Right. You're also going to be mocked and scoffed. You're going to develop them cancerous sores. All right, you're going to be a product of Babylon.
Right.
Just like a pack of ramen noodles on the shelf.
Right. Yep, and that's right, because you have it where You know, these people trust in this place so much, man. Okay, they trust in these banks. They trust in, you know, the fact that they got it's a huge pothole. You know, but they trust in these things so much to where, you know, if one slight thing happened, they'll lose it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Hey, what happened to you have famous people, you know, people who's in the sports, okay, losing out on money, millions of dollars, going missing in these banks, man.
Yep.
All right, around that time of the C-19, man, when they was wondering where the hell their millions went. So imagine they had millions, but how much more for people who just had hundreds, just a few $100s in there,
right?
You know. You done bust your behind wait for your check, and then your check don't come through because you had a government shutdown, which we recently just had.
Yep.
And now the bank's closing.
Right.
You know,
these people losing out on money, and they're gonna be desperate to get their money back. And this devil's gonna present you with an option. All right, you can take the C-HIP and get your money back and then some, or you can not take it and you be persecuted.
Right.
Be casted out from society, like Klaus Schwab said. You're gonna be an outcast from society.
Yeah, you know, without having that, pretty much you're gonna be without having that type of technology, like that, you're gonna be an outcast. You know, you're not gonna be able to participate in society, and that's their ultimate goal. Yeah. You know, that's what they want.
Closing down all these banks. Yeah, man, they're gonna put you in a position of difficulty so that you can make a desperate decision in the time of desperation. It says 2 Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
And that's something you these people, man. Imagine going to a local store, a local area that's, you know, providing these goods. Imagine it going empty, man. Okay, these people gonna start looking around, looking crazy in the face, like what the hell going on? They're gonna be looking lost. Okay,
right?
Because these storehouses is gonna be empty. What was once feeding you and providing, nutrients to your household, is not gonna be there anymore.
Right? Because everybody losing out on money, not just the people that are consumers, but also the people that have these businesses.
Yeah.
People that are owners and employers and business owners.
The buyers and the sellers.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be losing money. That's why the scripture says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Because it's not going to be just the poor being targeted in this great shift. It's going to be everybody. Yep. You know, everybody's going to have to conform to the new way of payment, the new way of currency, which is the MOTB, the C-HIP of the chip, in order to get their money flowing back in, man.
That's right. And Esau's going to take away that middle class, man. He's either going to be the poor or rich. You see? Or the rich or rich, you know. They ain't even gonna matter about that. They're middle class anymore, man. They're trying to put stuff within what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to make it done in a certain way to where it's order out of chaos.
Yep.
You know.
Black and white, ain't no gray area.
Exactly.
There's more on this article. Drop down. It says the wave of closures is anticipated to escalate in 2025, resulting in an additional 4.11% decrease by the end of the year. It says retail bank closures in the U.S. aren't slowing, and our research shows that the last time this many people relied on a local bank branch in 1995, it says. And our research shows that the last time this many people relied on a local bank branch was in 1995, said digital marketing expert Darren Kingman. And he's a digital marketing expert. All right? So that goes to show you where this is going, man.
Right, digital.
Right.
He's digitally marketing these things. So he's keeping mind of, he's keeping track of these things digitally. So if he's an expert within these things, I mean, he sees it, the downfall from that point on to now. You know, it's at its high right now. Put it like that. Last time somebody was in this period of time, and now it has escalated to this point. So it's even a greater risk.
Right. Exactly.
You know, for something just to hit the fan out of nowhere. You know, for all these banks to be starting to get closed out, you got more people here, man. Was it on that?
It drops down, says research also shows that the mass shutdowns disproportionately affect banking customers with low incomes, disabilities, or racially diverse backgrounds.
Wow, look at that. And really, when you really dive into that, it really just targeting Jake, man.
Exactly.
That's the smartest and the cleverest, prettiest way they could put it. Nicest way they can put it. Oh yeah, sum it up for you, the minorities, the lower class, yeah, you might have a little bit of here and there, these other nations, but they got money. Jake is the one that's in the hardship, depending on these. Jake go to the bank and looking for a loan, like, oh man, I gotta pay this bill, man.
Right.
We be the ones jacked up the most, so they know that Jake go to these banks and pull for these type of things, and imagine it not being available anymore.
I have one more article. I just want to bring out the headline. I ain't got to read it.
Yeah.
But it says, in End Time Headlines, it says, multiple U.S. stores set to close in 2025 as retail apocalypse accelerates. So it's a retail apocalypse. That means grocery stores. So they're talking about multiple grocery stores closing in 2025. They called it a retail apocalypse. That means the retail stores, these Walmarts, your big chain grocery food stores, your neighborhood markets, all these things are being targeted in 2025 to shut down, man. A lot of them being shut down. And what do you think they're going to do? They're about to do something that you never expected them to do. They're about to pull out a double whammy on your ass, man. All right, and if you ain't spiritually prepared, you're going to fall for it. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 36:6. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, meaning if you depended upon it, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So if you lean, you depended upon these banks. These people are solely dependent upon these banks, especially Jake that's trying to start a business or trying to get into making their own income or secondary incomes, whatever.
Yeah. Own some piece of land.
Or they got bank loans.
Yeah.
Their houses, they got a house loan from their bank or a car loan from their bank, whatever it may be. They have to continue paying these banks to maintain their comfortable living. So if you just depend upon these banks and you're dependent upon this Esau's money system, it's going to have to go into your hand and pierce it, and you're going to fall for it a lot easier. It says, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. If you trust in this devil, guess what? He going to rule over you. He going to make you his product. He going to make you his cattle. They already called us Goyim. All right? They consider us to be cattle. Now they're about to brand us with their insignia. So when the Lord comes back, he going to see a bunch of Jakes with the name Esau branded on them, like Esau created them.
Right.
And we're going to have to put you down, man.
Which being, you would end up becoming a part of this system.
Yeah.
If you take that
beast system.
Yeah, that beast system. You take that, if you take that consent to the system, you're going to pretty much be a part of this beast system. And, hey, you got to be destroyed after that. I got a precept and close it out with this, if you got anything else.
Yeah, I got one more.
Okay, you got it. Well, matter of fact, I'll grab this and you can close it out with that.
Okay.
This is Isaiah chapter 30, to back the brother up, verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, that take counsel, but not of me.
So destruction be to those rebellious children. Who's rebelling? Jacob, man. Because the Lord gave them laws, statutes, and commandments, orders. You were given orders and time. All right? So they rebelled against those orders. So destruction be unto you. Go ahead.
It says, and that covered with a covering, but not of my spirit.
You covering with a covering, you protecting yourself, but not through the Lord's spirit, through Esau. Okay? You using Esau to protect yourself. Okay?
That they may add sin to sin.
So that you can keep sinning. All right? Because if you had to protect yourself with the Lord through the Lord's spirit, you're going to have to come up under the order. Right. You're going to have to come up under his laws, statutes, and commandments. You got it, King.
So you're going to have to make a change.
That's right.
And Jake don't be want to make a change, man. They want to stay a nigga. It says, verse 2, it says that...
Charleston White says, some people want to be a nigga.
Yeah.
He said, I want to be a big, dumb, ignorant nigga.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he is.
Verse 2, it says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. Which goes into the same thing, man. Jake go down to them for that assistance, those benefits, You know, you got some of these banks that be giving all these type of deals and you know, assistance where, oh, if you put your money, you trust your money here, you know, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, you know. And they be wholeheartedly trusting in these things, man.
Right.
You know, they be so, and then guess what? Shit go left, man.
This devil be flipping your money and shit.
Oh, yeah, take your money, give it to somebody else. You know, he is a finesser, man.
Which happened when, I believe it was 2023, 2024. It had to be a few years ago where the Bank of America, they was, the reason people couldn't pull their money out is because once they put their money in their savings, the Bank of America was flipping their money.
Yeah, they would take their money and then let somebody else use their money to multiply that. And then when you come and try to ask for your money back, it's like, oh, we ain't got it right now, but,
Yep.
you know, we'll give you this, you know, but we ain't got your money.
There was a series out, I believe it's on Prime. I forget what it's called, but if you can relate to the scene, it says it was a scene where the people were rioting against these banks and these grocery stores, these big main retail stores. And these are prophecies they put in your face. These are left-hand sided prophecies, all right? Which is all prophecy. Is still the same prophecy, but they were rioting against these big food chain stores and retail stores and banks, and they're saying, where the fuck is my money? Where the fuck is my money? You know, and the people were mad, man. All right, because they, I forgot what happened, what they did with the dollar, but people couldn't receive their money. They couldn't pull their money out or anything. They couldn't use their money, you know, so the people were, like, pulling up on Esau. Where my money at? Where my money at? You know, and attacking the police. And it's going to get real crucial out here, man, you know. We're coming into that time where you're going to say, damn, I seen this in a movie somewhere, and it's going to be reality.
It says, continuing, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So you rather go to them for their needs, for their wants, and all the whole nine, and trust in the fact that they'll take care of you,
Right.
you know. But guess what? Scripture says, verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. Which that Pharaoh, the modern day Pharaoh was once Joe Biden or Sleepy Joe, but now you got this guy Trump, man. Okay, Nero, you got this guy Trump, man, who's showing his ass in his seat. You know, it says.
Oh, you had a video we just watched before we started this lesson. When the guy, I'm on, showed me a video where this guy was walking down the sidewalk with an "I Love Trump" shirt on and recording himself, and some guy behind him said, "You love Trump?" He was like, "Yeah." And that guy chased him down, and they started scrapping in the street, man. You know, so it's getting to a time where if you ever seen that movie Civil War, they asked, what kind of American are you?
Right.
You know?
You see what they did.
Right.
It says, therefore, I read it from verse 3 again, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's gonna be the state of these people when all hell breaks loose, man. Okay, when they start seeing America start crumbling more and more to the eye, they're gonna realize they're gonna be ashamed, man. They're gonna be in great confusion of what's going on. Okay, they're gonna be lost in the street. Oh, I don't know what is going on, you know, and it's gonna lead these people in great distress. Okay, for trusting in this system, man. You got it, bro.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. All right, so you want to be a part of that beast system. All right, you want to accept his mark. Guess what? You're going to be cast into the fire with the beast system. Okay, that beast, because the Lord is going to cast that beast system into the fire, and if you're a part of it, guess what? You're going to be in the fire too. All right, that's why you got to hold strong and stay true to the mark, the mark of exemption. Okay, that spiritual mark of exemption, which the Lord set upon the head of those that are loyal to Him. All right, but if you loyal to your bread, yourself, your own belly, you're gonna die, man.
That's right.
All right, but that's all I had on that, King.
Con.
You want to close this out? Or you want me? I can close this out.
Kind of got it. And you know what I'm saying? You know, Scripture says, you know, for we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man.
Right.
So at any point, at any time, this devil can make something happen, and shit can just start going, you know, haywire, man. Okay. So just keeping, eyes open. You know, this devil, at anything, at any time, she can pop off, man.
That's right.
Okay, so hey, you know, we're gonna close it out. Lord, when this lesson was edifying to you, I can walk the secret, know the truth, sincerity. Okay, once again, double honor, that was an apostle, great millstone, teacher well. But we're gonna close it out by giving all glory and praises to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
Till next time, we say shalom.
Shalom.